What if one of the biggest reasons you stay stuck is because you believe that if something cannot be done perfectly, it's not worth doing at all? And because of that, we stop moving, we stop showing up, we disconnect completely. So, in this episode, I want to talk about the all or nothing mindset and why showing up imperfectly is still way better than not showing up at all. Hello, and welcome to Alive Soul podcast, where we explore personal growth, high performance, and intentional living. I'm Dr. Wasim Bellani, and I believe that life isn't just about going through the day, it's about becoming fully alive in everything we do. Through my journey as a doctor and heart rhythm cardiologist, and then through my exercise journey in cycling and running, and later in personal development and growth journey, I've learned that success isn't just about reaching goals, but about who we become along the way. This podcast is here to inspire and challenge you to push your limits, cultivate your discipline, and live with purpose. Join me each week as we dive into ideas, reflections, and practical strategies to help you grow into your best self. So let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to Alive Soul podcast. Have you ever noticed how sometimes, if you can't do something the way you ideally want to do it, you end up not doing it at all? I've been dealing with the same trap myself lately. See, for a long time, I associated exercise with doing a full workout. Riding on my bike for a while, going for a long run, pushing hard for at least 30 minutes or more. But that's what exercise looked like in my head. And for a while, that was the ideal version for me. And a lot of times, if I didn't have enough time or energy to do that version, I would skip that altogether. And lately, with my neck injury, running and cycling stopped feeling comfortable, so I almost stopped exercising completely for a while. Until I eventually told myself, okay, maybe things are not ideal right now, but doing something smaller is still way better than doing nothing. So I started walking a few times a week, and honestly, it helped me a lot. Just the idea of getting myself moving again, even if it wasn't the ideal workout I had in my head. And it made me realize how often we think if something isn't perfect, then it somehow does not count anymore. And I think this shows up in many areas of our lives. People say, if I can't study for an hour, I won't study. If I can't eat healthy today, the whole day is ruined. If I missed a workout, I'll just start next week. And before you know it, one bad moment turns into days and weeks of completely disconnecting. And we get stuck in that mentality of, I would either do the full ideal version of that thing, or I would not do anything at all. But many times life doesn't give you the chance to do that ideal version that you wish you want to do. So if you're only relying on that chance, the chance that you could do the ideal version of the thing that you're working on, you would often do nothing at all. And that's the trap. And that's what kills your progress. And honestly, I caught myself doing the exact thing. Because for me, the ideal version of a workout was a full-blown bike ride or going for a run for a while. But because I couldn't do that for a while, I just stopped exercising at all. But then I realized that maybe doing the less ideal version would be better than doing nothing. And that's what happened when I started walking a few times a week, which helped me keep the momentum and keep the progress. And the problem is, most of us don't realize that we're doing that. And I think part of that is we get attached to the ideal version of things, the ideal workout, the ideal routine, the ideal schedule. And once life changes, injury, stress, work, kids, exhaustion, whatever it is, the smaller version suddenly feels like it's not worth doing anymore. And that's where the trap is, because most of life is not ideal. Real life is messy. Some weeks you feel energized and motivated. Other weeks you're exhausted and just trying to get through the day. And if you only know how to function under perfect conditions, you'll keep disappearing every time life gets hard. And one thing I also realized that small actions matter because they keep you connected. See, the walk itself wasn't the important part. It was staying connected to movement, staying connected to taking care of myself, staying connected to the mindset of somebody who will still show up anyways. Because once you completely disconnect from something, it becomes much harder to mentally come back. And I think a lot of people know that feeling very well. You miss one workout, and then suddenly, it's been 3 weeks. You stop reading for a few days, then months pass. You stop doing something good for yourself, and slowly you start feeling disconnected from that version of you altogether. And that's why small effort still matters. So if you feel stuck somewhere in your life right now, maybe ask yourself a different question. Not what is the ideal version I could do, but what I can still do today, even if it's a smaller version. Maybe you cannot do the full workout, but you can still walk. Maybe you cannot do the full 2 hours of exercise, but maybe you can do 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Maybe you cannot read for a whole hour. Maybe you cannot read 20 pages, but maybe you can read 1 page. Things might not be perfect right now, but you can still do something small to stay connected. And once you stop expecting perfection from yourself every single day, it becomes much easier to stay consistent long term. And as I was thinking about this episode, I realized that the biggest cause of all or nothing thinking isn't that it slows our progress, it's that it convinces us to stop. It convinces us that if we cannot do that perfect version, then the smaller version doesn't matter. If you cannot give that 100% version, then the 20% is pointless. If we cannot do it the way we imagined, then maybe we shouldn't do it at all. But that's rarely true, because most of life isn't lived in perfect conditions. Most of life is lived in the middle. On busy days, on stressful days, during setbacks, during injuries, during seasons where things aren't going according to plan. And people who keep growing aren't necessarily the people who always have the best circumstances. They're the people who learn how to keep moving when circumstances change. Maybe not as fast, maybe not as perfectly, maybe not the way they originally planned, but they keep moving. So if there's something you've been putting off because you cannot do it perfectly right now, maybe this is your reminder. Do the smaller version. Do a shorter workout, a shorter walk, read fewer pages. Take the step that is available for you today. Because something doesn't lose its value simply because it's not perfect. And your progress doesn't disappear just because it looks different than what you expected. So keep showing up, not perfectly, just consistently, even if it's smaller. And one day, you look back and realize that those small imperfect steps were carrying you forward all along. So keep showing up, stay strong, and stay consistent. Because progress isn't about perfection, it's about taking action every single day. And remember that every habit you build, every effort you make, it all adds up. So keep showing up, because the small steps you take today are shaping the version you become tomorrow. That's it for this episode, my friends. And if you relate to it, please share it with people around you, because we all grow better when we do it together.